do? I trust you are well. Yeah, I see yesterday the video I made a year and a half ago when I first got awarded the doctorate was reshared, and your reaction to it is incredible. Thank you so much. It gave me an opportunity to celebrate that win one more time. The way my life is at the moment, I don't get to celebrate that as often as I would like to, so the opportunity to celebrate it and remind myself has been wonderful. And in there is always the influx in my inbox around why I went that route, and I explained, but I will do it again on video today. A long time ago, when I became a teacher, I got myself an informal coach, and what the informal coach told me was a game changer. As a teacher, you will be in the classroom and you will get skills, you will get experiences, but your teaching certificate alone will not tell the full story. Just one PGC will not tell the full story. So the person encouraged me to look at the multiple specializations, and whenever I got an opportunity to do the Teacher Learners Academy, do it and get the certificate. So I did the Teacher Learner Academy. I got a few action research certificates. In that time, I had no idea what I was beginning. At that time, there was the certification that I was after, which suggested that I had done some research of my own, and it was great. And then as my career developed, I understood the strategy that person had shared with me. This is how the world works. Bismarck, good morning. It's wonderful to see you. Yes, I am doing really well. I hope you are too. You know, I don't go anywhere. I'm here every day. I create content daily, and now there's multiple pieces of content on the page daily. But there we go. Always a pleasure to see you. Hi, Karen. As my career developed, especially as I got into positions where I was involved in hiring, something connected. There are some people you see, and you see skills. They have skills, and it's very good for what we are hiring for, and we are all over the place. But usually, if you are being hired for your skills, you will be hired. Nee, how you doing? It's good to see you. If you are being hired for your skills, you will be hired at rock bottom. Rock bottom. You are here to slug it out, to slave, to push. You have been brought to the breadline to come push skills. Those who have qualifications, certifications on top of those skills, especially those who are smart enough to add certifications around management, around leadership, around communication. Those people, I have sat in so many interviews and seen top candidates for a job. And I have heard recruiters say, well, these and these are at par, but that one has a master's degree. And especially if it was how do you say your name? Maisie or Mazzy? It's beautiful, whichever version is correct. Good morning. Yeah. Those who had the elevated qualifications tend to be considered for the elevated positions. I have seen people who have been hands down much better at doing a job, but somebody else with a slight edge in qualification has trumped them and taken the job. And I have sat in many places where they couldn't decide between the candidates, but what they decided is that, oh, okay, see, this one is very skilled, so let's bring him on as a team member for this person, and the one with the extra certificate is always higher up, much higher up than the one who probably, hi Saber, who is going to be here to do the job. Your skills will hire you to do the job. Your skills will bring you on the breadline. You will come and slug it out. And those with the elevated certifications, those people may not even be as skilled as you are, will be put on top of you to oversee you, to supervise you, to regulate you, to control you. Why? Because the certification is evidence. The certification is evidence, it's recognition of the skill a person has. And whether you like it or not, the world is orchestrated the way it is and it works the way it is. When you have a reputable organization which has conferred onto somebody a confirmation of their skills, that gives them an edge. Especially where I am. When I first came here, those of us who had master's degrees had a different pay scale from those who didn't. We were all in the classroom, we were all teaching. When I've gone to places and I've shown them my multiple certificates as a triple specialist teacher, when a school can have you teach chemistry, physics and biology, the game changes completely. Most teachers can teach physics, chemistry and biology, but they will have to swear on their life to prove it. I don't. I pull my certificates out and there is very little conversation. When my certificates come out and you add that to the fact that I have a track record of doing it, but the first time I got a chance to do it, I got a chance to do it because people saw my certification. Lillian, people have to see your certification before they are comfortable enough to give you the chance you are looking for. That's how things work most of the time. If you want to prove it with skills, you will have to do so much. You will have to do so much. You will have to be willing to take so little for the so much you do. And when people peg you as a worker bee, which is the thing you don't want, once people peg you as a worker bee, you will remain in that worker bee category and they will always find better people to oversee you, who are often not better than you. They are often inferior in skills and in experience. But because they've pegged you as a worker bee, there will always be somebody to oversee you. I heard it so many times in my early career. You know, she has more managerial experience. Like, managerial experience of what? What we are doing is a technocratic job. What do we need a managerial experience for? It's a technocratic job. It requires decision making. But no, what they required was for me to make the decision and for somebody to sit there and rectify my decisions. That was the managerial experience they wanted. The people who had managerial oversight over me often did not match me in skills. Hear it carefully. The people who had managerial oversight of me, people who have had managerial oversight of me almost throughout my entire career, have not matched me in skills. They have not been my equals in skills. And a lot of them will tell you, well, you know, I know you have far more superior subject knowledge, and I know you have far more superior pedagogical skills, and I know, but they still have managerial oversight over me. And the reason why was, at some point, I was focused on the skills. I wanted to be the skilled teacher. I wanted to be the skilled communicator. And then I figured, right, okay, hold on a minute. Hold on just a minute. But I also did not want to be one of those idiots at the realm of affairs. If I was the oversight over somebody who was more qualified, who was more experienced than I was, I would look stupid. Because I know many people who have tried to have managerial oversight over me, and in our interactions, I have felt that they looked stupid. In fact, I suppose I am not very innocent in that process of making them feel stupid. It wasn't that I wanted them to feel stupid, but really, like I said, if I'm better than you, I'm better than you. If you are better than me, you are better than me. And we both know it. I'm starting management conversations with many people who have come to see my lesson, and they are drooling on about something or the other, and I'm like, can you give me practical things that I can improve? And I've done so with a straight face. Give me some practical strategies that you have used, that you envisage that I could use in order to move this further. And then we start well, you know, you are, yeah, it's difficult. That's a very difficult position to be. When you have oversight of somebody who knows how to do that thing better than you, it's so difficult. So I have not wanted to do that. What I have wanted to do, which is the harder thing to do, is to be competent myself and to get what it takes to convince the powers that be that I am capable of managing, of overseeing. That when I bring my superior skills with the certification, I am much better than somebody who just has a master's degree or a doctorate degree. I was talking to somebody this week, and the person said something along the lines of, right, so wow, you have the doctorate and you've got the research experience, but you've been in the classroom. And I said, I've not been in the classroom. I remain in the classroom. Unlike a lot of the managers who left the classroom 8-10 years ago, I remain in the classroom. And I remain in the classroom full time. So if I am managing teaching and learning, I will not be, when I'm managing teaching and learning right now, I will not be recalling what used to happen in my classroom 10 years ago. No, I will be recalling what's happening in my classroom right now. The information I would be using is relevant, current, and applicable. And so I would be a relatable manager, very different from your classic school managers who have been out for so long and out of touch with reality. And that is a huge advantage. The person and their reaction validated the choices I had made, actually. I realized that yes, what I had chosen to do was tough. I have had to wait, and I'm still waiting. But when the time comes, having both is a huge advantage over having one. If you only have skills, you will be kept here. If you only have qualifications, you may be here, but you will be stupid sitting here over people who are more competent than you here. When you oversee and you are clueless, it will be difficult for you to be really strategic because you may not have the technocratic knowledge to be able to make intelligent decisions at the top. It is much better to be all round. It is much better to be holistic. That is my game. And that's why I say to people, it is better to have the skill, because that's the starting point. You need the skill. But don't just stay at the skill, because if you stay at the skill only, you will end up being somebody's worker bee. And if that's all you want, then that's the game. It works really well. For those of us who want more, the skill alone is going to be inadequate. You will not get promoted to the top ends with just your skill. I don't know who's told you the alternative, but that's a lie. Nobody will give you the top of the game with just the skill. You will have to have some good connections. You will have to be at the right place at the right time. You will need some divine interventions to just get to the top with your skill. Yeah. Jemima, what is more likely with just your skill is that you will be in the trenches digging for those with the qualification to set. And I hear all the time, he just came straight out of university and they've made him a supervisor. Yep, he has a certification. That confirms that he has a skill comparable to what you have, or even better than what you have. He may not have the practical experience you do, but he has certification which confirms a skill. You have your skill unconfirmed. He is still your superior. And that's why they make him your superior. That's why they will make him your superior. May Abbas, how you doing? And Anne, he's superior. And that's why he will be made your superior. I don't understand why this kid just came straight from university and he's now sitting in the corner office. He has a master's degree, mate. He does. I know you work in a mechanical engineering setting and you think being able to hold a spanner is probably more useful. Well, when we are fixing something mechanical, But that's actually at the lower end of the job when you think of it holistically. That's rock bottom. Fixing an engine, cleaning a thing, that's rock bottom. Standing in the classroom screaming at children, that's rock bottom. Rock bottom. To actually move teaching and learning, I will speak from my area, to move teaching and learning from the mundane to the next bit requires tactics. It requires knowledge of pedagogy, people management, inspiring and inciting to take a group of people from doing something at the mundane to the top. And I have had the pleasure of watching a mistress at her game in a school. When she first employed me, I arrived at the school with her. She was new. I was new. The staff were hostile because they had just gone through a process, losing a head that they all like, and they did it so publicly through a funny process. And after that, they had not really had anybody at the realm of affairs until she walked in. She walked in with her ideas coming from a place, a rival school. Oh, they ate her alive. I used to feel sorry listening to some of the things that people were saying, and then I saw her play her game. That was a mistress at her game. And no, darling, no, she had her MPQH at that time. She had also gone through the certification. She had had the mentorship, she had had the coaching, she had had the certification that says she was qualified to be a head teacher. And when she actually stepped in and started implementing, it was so obvious to everybody. This was a mistress at her game. She understood classrooms so well that when she came to talk to you about what you were doing, she recognized the people who were on the right track. And very quickly, she fished out the ones who were not willing to learn. And she was ruthless enough to encourage all of them to go elsewhere. They did. Those who did not want to do moved. Then she continued to recruit, and that's the time I began to realize there is a theme here. The people she was recruiting were also similar. Also similar. Those people had an ideology. Some of them may not have even identified the name of the ideology, but a lot of these people had that ideology. She herself did not name it, but she practiced liberation leadership. And I've also seen people who write it on pieces of paper and say that they practice liberation leadership where they don't. But she never called it liberation leadership. She just practiced it. And as she practiced it, and we saw teacher autonomy in that school, the autonomous teachers began to pass that on to learner autonomy. These words were never used in that school: teacher autonomy, learner autonomy, liberation leadership. No, I heard it subsequent. And when I went to the subsequent place where everybody was carrying on about this autonomy, I'm like, oh, drat. That's what we experienced. You know why? We experienced those things because we saw a competent leader, a confident leader. She was competent and she was confident. The reason why she was confident was because she had the backing of the certifications. She had the backing of the places she had been. Her track record spoke for her, even as she did this radical new thing in this place. Her faith was unshakable. Give it 2 years, a lot of the tongues that were wagging when she first arrived were tamed. They were tamed. They were singing her praise. What happened? It's very simple. There was a person who was an experienced leader, who was a competent man manager, but who also understood, because I have been in many schools where the teachers will speak to the head teacher about instruction and the head teacher has forgotten because they left the classroom 15 years ago. You will talk about classroom management and you can hear whatever this person is suggesting is just out of their backside because they haven't seen year 8, year 7 children in a group in the last decade and a half. They couldn't tell you what is happening. And when they come to your classroom, they are often given advice which is 20 years out of date. And so you look at them, you roll your eyes, and you disregard what they say because you do know that they are clueless. That doesn't happen with those who have remained relevant. No, it does not. In fact, very quickly you figure out that these people understand deeply, and you come with respect, and you eat out of their hands. Yeah, that is an advantageous position, believe me. That's a huge advantage, to be able to have the best of both worlds. And I think that if you're going to lead, especially if you're going to lead competent people, that is the only position you can adopt. In my book, I'll leave you to be the judge of which positions you think might be suitable. But in my book, and that is the reason why I have not been willing to just be a competent teacher, the way some people advise me to do. You are so good in the classroom, you should focus there. No doubt, no doubt. I don't intend to focus there, to stay there, to be in the trenches whilst you sit on top of me. The person who gave me this advice was assistant head at that time, and was advising me to focus and remain in the classroom. You know why? Because as an assistant head, he needs idiots like me in the classroom, keeping the children quiet and sane and learning, so he can enjoy a good cup of coffee in his office. Yeah. He wants a good cup of coffee in his office, and he wants competent idiots in the trenches. And he was busy telling me, you know, going into anything outside the classroom is a waste of your skills. I'm like, huh? I think you are quite disrespectful of my skills. My skills are not limited to the trenches, no. I also do have a lot of managerial skills. I do have superb man management skills. I do have an awareness of instructional tactics that should be shared outside just my classroom. What do you say to that? And he looked at me blankly without a response. But yeah, he gave me that advice because that's what he wants. Competent people in the lower rank and file, so that he can chill and drink his coffee in peace. I'm telling you this in the hope that those of you who want more will understand that there's also underlying factors. People have their own reasons for giving you specific advice. You've got everything you need.
Yeah.
You brought your Emirates ID?
Yeah.
Did you bring your passport?
Yeah, it's in my bag already.
A few. If you didn't bring it, that would have been an issue. Yeah. If you need anything, WhatsApp me. Yeah.
Okay.
Should have done the passport check and the rest before you walked out. But thankfully, this time we got away with it. When I stop, you need to hop off. Al Jazeera is over here.
Yeah.
So you come and cross on this side. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you go?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure. See ya.
See ya. Love you.
Love you.
Bye. Yeah. People will advise you based on their own positions, and it's not always out of malice. Sometimes it's out of malice. Mika, sometimes, and Mispa, it's been a long time. It's good to see you. Yeah, sometimes it's out of malice. Let's not be silly. But it's not always out of malice. Jael, sometimes it is just the positions that they occupy and the realities of that position. So this person had seen a competent idiot, and yeah, he did not want me to leave that position vacant because he knew that if I leave that position, they would need 3 people to fill it. And he told me that many times. We would need to hire 3 people like you to replace you. Where would we find them from, and how would we pay them? Some of your names are interesting. Hi, Bill Clinton. If that's your real name, can you imagine introducing yourself with a straight face as Bill Clinton? Anywho, why do I have these conversations with you? I have these conversations with you because I want you to be crystal clear of the things that you will need to do in order to achieve some of the things that you hope for. There are so many of you who are hoping to get to managerial positions, but you have not understood the game. You think that your skills alone and your sacrifice and your loyalty will get you the managerial positions. They won't. Those who appoint onto those positions are not looking for skills. They look for more than skills. You notice that in workplaces, the ones who know how to be ruthless are the ones whose careers progress the fastest. Yeah, because those who are looking to hire into managerial positions are looking for ruthless people. They are looking for cutthroat people, decisive people. Yeah. They are not looking for those who are very popular in the workplace, because a lot of them envisage that when you are very popular, you will not be clinical in making certain decisions. When you are on the side of the employees, they might not give you a chance. You know why? Because they want you to be on their side, not on the side of the employees. When people appoint, especially in corporate, if a corporate body appoints somebody into supervisory or managerial roles, they expect you to assume fiduciary duty. And most of us do not understand this need for fiduciary duty. And so we position ourselves very, very on the side of the people, for the people, by the people. Well, it will be very difficult for you to honor fiduciary duty when you are for the people, by the people, with the people. And so those who appoint, knowing that your loyalty is not with them first, may not consider you for the roles. And when they don't consider you for the roles, a lot of you are heartbroken because you are probably the best qualified for the job. They are not looking for just qualifications. You are the most experienced. That's not what they are looking for. What they are looking for is somebody who can guarantee them fiduciary duty. So if management is your game, then you want to make sure that your ability to deliver fiduciary duty is not misconstrued. Let me say that again. You do not want your ability to deliver fiduciary duty misconstrued if management is your ultimate destination. You want the powers that be to know that you can be clinical and you can deliver fiduciary duty where necessary. If you are able to communicate this to those who are appointing, you will be given a chance. Mercy, if you do not know how to do that, well, we do have a problem. We have a problem. I'm telling you these because I want clarity for those of you who are commencing. I do not want you to repeat the mistakes that some of us did. I was lucky that some people shared information with me and they helped me to avoid some of the mistakes. I am lucky, more lucky than average. But even I have had my share of information that I did not receive ahead of time. And so things have happened in my career, and when you look back sometimes, you're like, oh, drat, that's what it was. For me, this fiduciary duty thing was a big one. I am for the people, by the people, with the people. That's my original positioning. That's my fundamental positioning. But I needed to also at some point understand what fiduciary duty was and be able to talk to people about remaining for the people and having fidelity to deliver fiduciary duty. I had an interview some time ago with somebody, and the person says, well, I hear you and I hear the passion, but that brings a conflict of interest. And I'm like, what conflict? And the person throws it right out there. And I had to really counter. I beg to differ. No, actually. My fiduciary duty to you is to make sure that you get the most out of the organization. Well, you will get the most out of the organization when you get the most out of your individuals. And I'm people-centered. I work with the people. I grow the people. Good morning, Tony. I establish the people. The people will give you their best under those circumstances. And when they do, you don't actually you don't require a lot of the mechanizations you just discussed. People will be for you and you will be for them. They will give of their best and you will get their best. And in return, you nurture them because it is in your interest to do so. The person comes back later on and says, you know, that thing you said to me has kept me awake for days. In the end, they gave me the job, but I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. There are many things around the package and its circumstances that I couldn't take. And the person came back to me heartbroken because after that conversation, they just wanted to. And that's what I've learned. You've got to let people know you. You've got to let them know what you are good at. You've got to let them understand how that aligns with their goals. Yeah? But more importantly, you want to know what the fundamentals for getting to a point are. For most times and for most places, the fundamentals are that people want skills. And they want confirmation of skills. They want affirmation of skills. They want experience. They want confirmation and affirmation of experience. And in all your doings, you've got to make sure that those things are in place if you fancy yourself occupying some of those spaces. Get skills and find ways to confirm them. Yeah, Tony, this Facebook is a bugger. It's been a while like that. If you want to find my content, you actually do need to make sure that you are constantly checking, that you follow the page, that you've got your notifications, and you have made it a priority content creator. If you've done that, maybe it will be for a while, but you will need to update those settings regularly. Peter, how you doing? Anywho, I just arrived at work, so let me go and slug out a shift. I'll speak to you guys again, most likely tomorrow morning, but you will see some other content popping today for your pleasure. Vaughn, Anequia, good morning. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and I will catch you later, baby.